die thanks to the amount of tank that they have there. These K1A1s are not a joke. My ally is sending in some planes, but I believe with all of the chaparrals and the amount of anti-air, it actually gets away, which is surprising because I expected to get shot down. But in any case, at this point, I'm like, well, shit. I'm just gonna set up a field of base here, kind of a kill zone, see if we can maybe push back into this point. But I'm still thinking about attrition. That's the main thing going through my mind. I've, not done a good job of it so far. I've lost all of the units. My main force that came into here just got destroyed. I'm firing RT kind of randomly at where I last saw some of these chaparrals, but Hans has moved them away by this time. My opponents call it to make a defensive line here, so they really want to defend this defender push and keep the point ticking up from that side. And with attrition in mind, they are doing a better job than I am. Especially, you'll see a lot of these K1A1s. They show up a lot. The squad of 4 that he is constantly moving around, constantly moving up to my lines to take shots, but you'll see some of that later on. Aaron is moving some infantry into the forest, and I am setting up quite a semi-sizable force to help me combat the amount of blue 4 that are showing up on my doorstep. So my T-62s, which are my cheapest tanks again, start getting artilleried by the enemy. Someone puts an attack marker down here. This is one of my allies' T-64. I'm not sure if it actually has a missile. No, it doesn't. These don't have a missile. Or my ones don't have a missile. I bring up some TO-55 because I know they're going to have some infantry in these buildings if I ever want to push on that. I'm bringing up some BMP-2s with some infantry. I'm moving up recon, and I'm going to sit them right here. Because of how this point is positioned, there is this ridge which overlooks the edge. But if I get some infantry up here, they're not going to be able to spot them. I'm not spotting these tanks right now. I'm not able to spot anything in here because of this ridge line. So I'm moving up some infantry onto their doorstep now since they've taken command of this point. They move up some Leopards, some AMX-30s, and start getting some tanks. My allies and my tanks get a small window to shoot at them while they're moving. Mine get destroyed by the Leopards, and my ally comes in to drop some bombs, takes out a few of those Leopards. That thing dies. That was a BTR, which didn't matter anyway. But I've got my Fagatroyas, my BMPs moving up. ATGMs, I'm thinking, are the best way to combat this because they're going to line up tanks right on this doorstep. I'm moving a T-55 into here, which I did not mean to do. That was a mistake order. I told him to fire at these infantry or something while I had line of sight on them, but the line of sight didn't last, so it continued to drive up into the enemy lines and dies immediately to these K1A1s. I bring up some more Me-24 to suppress the enemy tanks. They shoot at the chieftains, but these again are very tough tanks and very hard to deal with. And meanwhile, they are still MLRSing me. I get a Me-24P over here as well to support. Not sure it does much for me, but I'm moving up in some Su-122s, a World War II tank destroyer, because the main reason I'm moving those up, they can take quite a beating. When we take down an aircraft right here, I think it might have been my allies Tunguska that actually did that, and I noticed that my anti-air isn't all that strong in the area, and they are sending quite a lot of planes. So I call in a flak gun, flak turret type of unit. My faggots are shooting as soon as they get line of sight at these K1A1s, which would be a really good kill. So I put an attack marker down. They're taking out my stuff. They have really, look at that range. That's incredible. My SU 112s are moving up on them. I called those in while they're dropping some bombs on me. I called those in because they can take quite a beating. They have some quite good front armor. Look at all this napalm they were dropping on my units. They try moving up some Commando Marines, but it runs into this Mi-24, which deals with that. My allies are flying around some yaks. I haven't been able to buy any planes yet. This guy leaves the game at this point. I think, yes, that is one of our allies for the pact, so it is not looking too good, but the points are not too far between. We can still have a chance to catch up, even though the initial pushes and the initial look of the battlefield says that the enemy are in the lead and they have a clear advantage. Over here, the battle is going somewhat as it should. In this point, X-Ray, the enemy really could have diverted some units and took both of these points. That would have been a really big blow. They're sending in an airstrike of F4ES and F5As to drop bombs on my guys. Those planes, because of their number, I take down one of them, but because of how many they are, my anti-aircraft can only lock on to one at a time, and they only take down that one plane. Meanwhile, I'm moving in some Tor missile launchers, which are anti-air, and some BM-21 Grads, which are the upgraded version of a Katusha MLRS system to kind of shell the enemy. On their doorstep now, I have some VDV, which are elite infantry, able to do quite well. I'm planning on maybe getting them in here to secure some of these houses. If I do make a push, I want my infantry to be close. And right now, I'm moving my Motostrelski, my 10 dudes, to go and be a recon unit and scout and see what they have in here. They get this far and they spot this big line of chieftains and rise patterns and a Bradley over here, so I put a marker down for myself to start artillerying, or maybe I launch my BM-21 Grad in sometime soon. I'm moving it over to my FOB so it can get resupplied quite instantly. My BRDM free recon unit is firing at some reservists and Commander Marine that Aaron has moved up and have managed to get in my line of sight, but that also reveals where I have this vehicle to the enemy, so it might not be such a great thing. Meanwhile, Super Intards are doing some stuff over here in the middle, and I'm firing my MLRS on mainly this marker that I put, but because of the dispersion, they don't actually seem to hit anything, although they do stun some units. A Fighting Falcon gets taken down by my allies' Yaks, assisted by my Tor missiles, which is a very good kill because planes are expensive. I'm not sure how much that plane was, but planes in general you want to swat out of the sky as fast as you can. I'm moving up a Skrejet here, which is a troop transport, but it also makes for a very slow anti-air little platform, and that actually shoots down this recon chopper, so that's a good trade-off. And right now what I'm thinking is I need more stuff here because they've got, you know, all of that shit, so I'm mainly moving up anti-tank ATGMs, some T-64s, and that type of thing. My resupply trucks are going back and forth, but I don't do such a good of resupplying my units as my opponents because they have supply choppers which land in the area, resupply, and entirely rearm the enemy tanks, so they stay in the battle quite a lot. I think I sent some artillery on these units, and that chopper has been taken down by this point. And Hans puts down markers ATGM, ATGM, and ATGM on my BMPs and my units that I have over here. Someone on the enemy team actually leaves now. I'm not sure where he was stationed, but he must not have been having a good time, or maybe he disconnected. But just look at the amount of units that I have to go up against. It's Hans, Aaron, and this one other guy. A plane comes in, but by this time I have enough anti-air to take it down. They start artillerying me where they put these markers, which is actually quite effective because my infantry here, my Fegatoria, just fucking, they die. They die to those high-powered shells. I'm not sure what caliber they're shelling me with, but it is working. It's stunning my tanks, making everything very hard for me. I'm firing a second grad barrage over here because I see they have some. Alright, I saw that they had some anti-air station there, and this is when I bring in one of my planes. I bring in the Su-27, which takes some missile shot at it. I'm not sure what that was actually. It could have been a plane, but I mainly keep it circling in case they try to send some more bombers as well to complement my anti-air. The Su-27 is an interceptor. And my Fegatoria or my BMPs, my BMP-2 is actually shooting ATGMs at the tanks that Hans has moved up here. Rice patterns are not very expensive, I believe, but they can be quite effective. And you'll see these 4 K1A1s moving up on the position. Now, my idea by this point is to kill as much of their stuff as I can, because I'm still thinking about attrition. Unfortunately, they do spot my VDV, which I start moving around the side because I wanted to kind of hide them there and not have them discovered. My BMPs and T-64s are firing back at these K1A1s, but they are such a powerful unit, and there's 4 of them, and they just keep leveling up. And even though they do take some hits, you can see the only one that got hit worried, and the rest of them are completely fine, completely accurate. I'm actually having to drive my tanks forward to shoot at them because they have superior range, even though those were my cheapest tanks for 30 points. And once they get damaged, he pulls them back to resupply and rearm them. Meanwhile, artillery is still falling on my line. My ally in this point, for some reason, moves out his command infantry, who are up here or something now. I'm not sure. I saw them moving away at the time. Oh, here they are. Yeah, he's moving them away, marching them away. But it was this guy that left, so someone else is doing that, and I don't know why. But we lose command at this point, which is dumb. That shouldn't be happening. Meanwhile, my VDV are sitting by this ridge. A Bradley drives up, and I think they get line of sight, or not, or maybe not yet. But I'm moving up a Skrishet as well because I'm thinking about taking them up and driving them further, or I'm thinking of just supporting them with that. It goes a little bit quiet here. I'm still moving in some tanks, replacement tanks, because all of my other ones died. My Su-27 is buzzing around again.